Good morning from New York. Finally, a morning where I'm awake. Today's today's subject: the way to the divine is love, which heals and increases virtue. America rising with Joe, meaning Joe Biden. Well, let's go from the last to the first. Joe Biden looks his election probability is going up as more and more people are finally seeing that Trump is not healthy enough and not moral enough and spiritually healthy enough to be president of our great nation. It took a while, but it's starting to change. Um, Economically, we're doing better. Uh, Everything's looking up at this point, and you know, it's there's the UK and Canada and I think one other, but have banned Trump from their shores. It's electing a president that isn't even welcome. So, the countries who are our allies ought to speak volumes to people. It seems that the Midas Touch network is saying, and it makes sense that as the election is kept going and the information has increased, that people are finally paying attention. So, yeah, and now that they're paying attention and the world respects us more, I think, with the way that our legal system held up and didn't collapse and the truth came out, and not a single juror thought that he might be innocent. Not one on any of the 34 charges. All 12 were convinced, and the Midas Touch talked about how Trump was saying that New York was going to turn red and that it was for him. And yet, when he's in a jury trial with jurors picked by both sides on the case, oh, they're all Democrats and it's they're out to get me. I thought that was a great point that they made. Anyway, things are getting better. I'm awake today. So maybe this will be a more coherent presentation than the last one that I had when I was falling asleep. I'm just so devoted to this channel because it's putting out a very important message and basic philosophy and understanding. And so thankful to the people who are helping manage the channel now. Alyssa, Mike, and Freddie, who's going to be more engaged this June. And to the person who said, "Good morning from Brazil," thank you. This is a message, this is a channel for the whole world. It does, we are concerned right now. Big focus was saving democracy here in this country. But we hope to share the channel and have versions in many different countries and in many languages. It's a lot of it's pretty simple. And I hope that someone will come along and make it sound as simple as it really is. And I tend to overcomplicate things sometimes, I think. But it's a good philosophy and understanding. The name that I've given to it is Echo Love. That's the philosophy, the inner mind, the form of inner mind communication that we're talking about here. And I like to be complete. It was jokingly said of me on a shipping dock, a trucking dock, actually, I should put it, that people shouldn't ask me what time it is because I would try to explain how the clock works. Yeah, but there will be others on the channel. I just like to be thorough, and if I have any doubts about any thing that I am presenting, I like to present when I can questions that the process raises. The channel essentially is not about me or my particular take on the importance of empathy and awareness in society. I believe I make a strong case, and and I am promoting it personally, but and hope to take it to the prisons and give people a little hope and help them to actually get better spiritually. The problem that I see in society and religion and so on is a punishing attitude. People who want people to change without going through the process of unlearning helplessness around needs and feelings and so on, which is the source of symbolic needs and and circumstances that your brain creates. to keep down anxiety when you're in that helpless situation, and that symbolic presentation or is something that you feel like you can attain. It sets up a constant struggle and a stress on the body and the mind. It's unresolved. It's unhealthy. It's not good for the mind. You have to unlearn that helplessness, and in order to resolve that situation where you're struggling for symbols, and when you're struggling for symbols of need, you're losing connection with the real you. I mean, because the real you is all about dealing effectively with what's necessary for your survival and the survival of your family and well, the world. Yeah. So, when you're out of touch with your survival and the drama of your life, when you don't have it under control, your drama has you. And this symbolic kind of approach, when it's not healed, leads to greed and power mongering and things like that we see so vividly in Donald Trump. But the philosophy that I've done to this channel is about healing. It's yes, you can protect society, you can give disincentives for bad actions, but you shouldn't have a punishing attitude, because people need to unlearn that helplessness, and stop struggling for symbolic need. When symbolic need dominates, which Jesus referred to as the love of money or mammon, when that dominates, then real needs are being suppressed in various ways. You're not fully aware of your real needs, and you're stuck in this unsatisfying struggle for more of something symbolic of need, which never leads to any satiation, no conclusion. It just it cuts the meaning in your life too. And if you follow that and you get toward to the end of your life, as you get older, you've attained enormous fame and wealth and so on. And if that was your struggle, if you weren't being realistic, if it was only your love of money and power was so dominant, and then you get a lot of power and money and influence, and you're still not fulfilled, that can be very impacting, and that's why sometimes we're surprised to see very successful people committing suicide, because it all hits them at once. The symbols come crashing down all of a sudden, and the awareness that's in the overwhelming hopelessness and powerlessness and helplessness of Well, it just all comes apart, and what we really need is this process where you unlearn the helplessness, you realize the needs that were symbolized, and you realize that it's in the past, so you stop living in the past. You're not trying to make America great again. You're trying to make America better, like Joe wants to do. Thank you, Joe. And you want to go forward. So when you've done that, then you can grieve that those you realize those needs are losses and in the past, and you kind of putting the past behind you and getting the good out of the past. There are things you discover uh, that were in the past that you didn't couldn't relate to or absorb, and so it's a very positive thing. It's like when I went back and I was, and I still do, it's an ongoing process. Um, I realized that because the hurt in me was, the anxiety in me was so strong that, well, when you want to how do I put this? You want to. The love itself becomes painful. People offering you the real love that you need um, is something that you push away, oddly enough, because it reminds you of um, the helplessness that you have attached to need. Um, it's takes you off course from struggling for the symbolic, and that brings that old anxiety up. And so you were not only hurt, you were pushing away the real need, the intentions to meet your needs that were around you at the time. After these helpless incidents, or in a family that couldn't relate to you, um, you push away. And so when you go back and you realize those needs and those feelings, um, that they're in the past and that they're a loss, and you grieve that and let it go, um, you also realize that there were people that you were pushing away who were trying to care about you. I mean, wow. So you're actually mining for the good that did exist in the past that you pushed away. You're realizing that there were people there that were trying to care about you. So that's a very positive thing that you can experience, so that, along with feeling the helplessness and unlearning it in relationship to what really happened to you. And this is not an act of will, really. It's you just it's the symbolic um, defenses coming down in a very gentle and caring way from loving perspectives, which is what Echo Love Inner Mind Communication is all about. It's a kind of inner reflection that involves role play and forms of meditation for the times in your life, the experience in your life that occurred when you had no self-concept, and you can touch that again, and that has benefits as well. Um, Now this is a practice for relatively healthy people. People with serious mental illness should always seek a professional, even though the state of the art is not what I think it should be. They're getting there, and yeah. So seek a professional if you do have serious actual mental disease. I encourage you to do that, and don't push that love away. There's help out there for you, and you should take advantage of it. And hopefully, with good people like Joe Biden, there will be health care, and that includes the emotional and dentistry. I hope one day will be properly situated in the healthcare industry as just another aspect of healthcare. It's something that interacts and is important along with every other form of help. But you grieve and you let it go so that you can truly forgive from your heart those who are involved, and you forgive from your heart, and then after this forgiveness, you are then able to see the more terrible thing, and that's when the hurt in you, this anxiety and this symbolic approach in your life, hurt other people. So this is very important, this process, and it can change a life. So in this process of change, we hope to see a world brought together. Now, a punishing attitude, which is I was maybe explaining the clock again, but the importance of understanding this is to see that the punishing attitude, which asks for change without this process, is irrational and harmful, and only produces people who are good because they're scared not to be, instead of people who are truly in touch and spiritually healthy, doing good because they want to do good. So that's and this, as you heal in this way, you attain greater virtue, and this virtue is connected to forms of empathy. Okay, that's a major teaching in this channel. Compassionate empathy gives the virtue of of goodness. And objective empathy gives us the virtue of truth, and creative empathy gives us the virtue of artfulness. And as these communicate with our dramatic self, and then you achieve greater trust and love for life and humanity and yourself. So in regard to I'm glad to see that America is waking up concerning Trump. But let's not uh, try to punish him so much. Let's not have a punishing attitude. Let's have a healing one. And he needs to be in a secure situation where he can't do more harm in our society, and a little disincentive never hurts. But he needs emotional help. Um, he needs healing. I'd love to see the real Donald Trump, the one not overwhelmed by all of this anxiety and which, by the way, when you're in great anxiety or pain, you tend to be very self-centered. Okay. Um, it would be great to see him able to embrace empathies and virtues, and to have real remorse, because after the forgiveness phase is where you can have real remorse. I think I didn't dot that I. Um, yeah, there's remorse, and remorse teaches you something. It teaches you that you are no longer the person who did that harm. And this is desperately needed in our world. So let's not be punishing and cruel to people. Well, you remember Abraham Lincoln, wow, who healed our nation, and he. He had a great speech where he brought us all together, and talked about healing. I believe it was, I forget how he phrased it all. Somebody out there who's more of a scholar will know, and please put it in the comments. It was at the I guess it was was basically the end of the Civil War. Um, and yeah, he gave a short but very impacting and beautiful speech. And hmm, and yeah, and it's lasted and had an impact over time here in this country, which says a great deal of good about the country. Um, remember, this country gave birth to Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, so many people who were against oppression. To the great leader, unionist um, for the farm workers. Um, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't remember the name of this great soul. It'll come to me eventually. The old brain's slow. I definitely need replacing. All right. Yeah. So, I hope that you'll learn these things and practice them as you're able, and learn to maybe become a trainer, and to help produce a school where we can have proper training. And hopefully the healthcare industry will take this understanding and find some utilization, since it goes all the way to the spiritual. That 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 might cause some people to say, well, that's not health care, but it is. It's part of your health. I mean, if you have virtue and empathy, you're spiritually healthy, and if you don't, you're not, and you need help. And okay, so I've made that point. I'd like to see. I'd like to see even the most fallen have a chance to rise and heal. And I think that's a big message in the New Testament that we have to pay attention to, or should pay attention to. Such things you were. And it listed a lot of bad sorts of behaviors. And but you're no longer that, Well, I'm reluctant to talk about the paranormal because it's just stuff we don't understand. And pretend that you do, to me, seems unethical. But this process did come about with an experience of that many would call paranormal, and that was very similar to reported experiences in near-death. People who had near-death experiences report certain paranormal seeming things and certain perspectives that make a lot of sense and are related to this. And this is what I call the path of the mystic. You don't have to wait until you're nearly dead. You can have such experiences without that. And it involves some things that are pretty hard to explain with what we reliably know at the moment. And by that I mean things, scientific facts that predict what we should see as we study the past, and what we will see or do see as things progress, move forward. Say an experiment, So it's as useful. It's true as it is. Any theory is true as it is useful, and this is I guess, in some ways, a kind of theory. Some would say just a thesis. Okay, I'll take that. But it's I want to let you know that well, the way I experienced it was an incredible, overwhelming sense of love that people report in near-death experiences as coming from a divine figure, oftentimes. And I had that. That's where the beginnings of all this understanding came from. And it's the path of the true, the true mystic. That's where this came from. I'm not unique in this. Like I say, there's others with similar experiences, and I think brain research and so on also can help us understand this whole process better. So I hope that science grows. There's the things that they have in near-death experiences, like this sense of being outside of time. Well, when you're taking the artist role in the role play aspect of this process of echo love inner mind communication, you're looking at the whole story of your life. So there's a sense of being outside of time, outside of the dramatic timeline, and that means there's a kind of bliss there, because you're able to appreciate the story of your dramatic story like you would a movie or a play or reading a book, vicariously, and so you're in heaven, and you're above time. I'm not saying, I can't say more than that. It's an experience of timelessness, which is common in the near-death experiences. When you do that role, you're tapping into that. You're up above. In that role position, you're up above your dramatic timeline, but communicating to your dramatic self within that timeline, and you can help to create memories, positive memories for yourself in that role. Well, I guess I am still a little bit tired, but I feel a lot better than I did the other day. Much thanks to all of the people who helped me in medicine, in the field of medicine. I'd be dead without them. So I hope you'll thank a doctor today, a nurse practitioner today, and if you're in the hospital, thank the people who are cleaning your room. They probably save more lives than anybody, because there's a threat of disease constantly, especially in a hospital. And they are saving your life when they come in and they do cleaning and so on. And show them proper respect. This part of the love flow is to give thanks. When I talk about the love flow, I mean it's a thankful attitude. Be thankful and appreciate all of the great things that people are doing. Just think, every day people go to work as police officers and EMTs and firefighters and doctors, nurses, and even during a pandemic they did this. The people building your bridges are brave souls. By the way, when you're talking about immigration and immigrants, you're talking about 15%, of the workforce, and big contributors to our economy. Trump wanted to send everybody back. It would cause the economy to crash. Um, these people are working without green cards. I think anybody having a job here, people don't just hire someone, especially if they don't know the language and whatever. Those are jobs that other Americans are not suited for or don't want. And you hire someone, they should have an automatic green card. They should have a path to citizenship. You need their labor. Don't treat them like a slave. Don't, and that's what happens when you need the labor. You hire the labor, and the Bible is the laborer is worthy of their hire. Be careful how you treat people. That's the Old Testament, how you treat people from another land in your land. Because once you, Israel, were strangers in a strange land, that's just wrong. They should get immediate green cards if they're gainfully employed. Give them a green card. You need the labor. Be fair. You need them, yeah. Or have an agreement that they're seasonal or something, and have a green card for that. And for that purpose, we need a better control over our borders, and that doesn't come from a wall and razor wire. That comes from foot patrols and high tech, and from having enough courts to make the decisions on asylum and other things, so that process can go through smoothly. People are gaming our system down at the border, and there was a bipartisan bill that could have done wonders to help deal with this influx of people who are basically, some of whom are just gaming our system. But how many of them are doing that, I don't know. We don't have the courts to set in place to do that work. So that would have created more courts, helped us to avoid, to stop the flow of drugs, or at least limit it more across the border. And by the way, pointing the finger of blame at poor nations, criminal element selling you bad drugs. Yeah, remember who's selling the drug cartels guns, and who's buying the drugs up here. Who's buying the drugs? We are. So, it's a mutual problem. And again, there's this punishing attitude which gets people into this blame game. You come together and you find common ground and you fix the problem, just the way Joe Biden does things. wow, what a great guy. I'm enthusiastic about this guy. I mean, wow. By the way, the Midas Touch talked about him riding a bicycle. He's pretty fit. He's a pretty fit guy. He's more fit than I am by far. And I'm 71, and he's what, in his 80s, so he's more fit than I am. And so, he's doing a great job. He's got a great vice president. I mean, don't worry about it. You know, I'm excited about these guys getting back into office. But let's give them some support. Whatever your side of the aisle politically you feel inclined toward. Give the Democrats a chance. Give them enough support, and so that they don't have to compromise or anything with the other side so much. So you can really see what will happen when their policies are put into place. By the way, Obamacare was a great idea. It's been put into place, and we see how effective it is. So, yeah, we need to make sure that we have good policies in place, and give them a chance to get the job done. Give some support to Joe and Kamala. Give them some support. They can't do anything unless the Senate and the House are sane. Okay? If you're an independent, well, okay. But look at how empathetic the people are, and look at their real skills, and if you're going to vote for the individual. But remember, it's hard to approach things that way, and overall, I put a lot of trust in a party, and that's the way I vote. I've never seen a reason to make an exception to that straight party vote. But there are some cases where, yeah, had I been in that area, I would have went to the other side on a few choices. Mhm. But rare, and I've never experienced it myself in any location I was at with the information I had. But yeah, and today, you gotta vote for Joe. Okay, all these things that I'm talking about, I'm not the only one who understands it. My mystic friend Mike understands all this kind of process, and we just want people to understand basically the basic teachings of Jesus. Let me say it. If you're looking at the verses in red, they used to put all of the things Jesus supposedly said in red. You're seeing a healing attitude. You're not seeing a punishing attitude. That doesn't help you. That doesn't help anybody. Yeah. And it really builds a kind of faith in humanity at large. And I've talked in my last video about the four major leaders of I think of currently in religion, and I'm thinking of how the good part of all of the major world religions is, went another direction. Though the good part in all the major religions is about healing, and it's about love, and it's about the love flow. And in the love flow, there's thankfulness. And you can start your day today making it a better day just by saying thank you to people that help you in any way, who serve you breakfast or, we have foot patrols. First time I've ever met a foot patrol. You meet an officer that's doing that, walking around, we thank him. Now don't go on and on and on. Don't interrupt them when they're having lunch. But, except maybe for a quick thank you, because they deserve not to be bothered when they're having their lunch. But you know, just say thank you, and that'd be enough. And wow, we stood up to Nazis. We did the right thing. We had brave people working against that heinous situation. But a lot of times people don't look back and see what brought that about. That punishing attitude that they inflicted on Germany after World War I was a breeding ground for the horrible Nazi rise to power. It breeded a kind of dysfunction in that democracy there, and wow, look at what happened. So punishing attitudes, it just doesn't work. We had a different attitude toward Germany and Japan after World War II. Our country did. We helped them rebuild, and they're staunch allies. This is what this channel is about. Drop the punishing attitude. Let's heal the mind. In your own mind and in our societies around the world. Let's find common ground, because it takes energy, and it's hard to do some of these things I'm talking about. It's not easy. It's like exercise. It's something you like to have done, but you don't like to do. Yeah. This is something for the world, and I encourage anybody out there to subscribe to this channel. Consider it your channel if you're for greater empathy and awareness in the world. If you're a professional person who helps people with trauma, please join the channel and give your perspective. We need to heal this world, and yeah. Well, let's see. What did I say? Did I cover everything? Yeah, pretty much. Okay. So, let's see. I'm looking at my OBS. It's just OBS Studio, by the way, is a great program. if you're using Linux, and it probably has a version for Windows and Macs, I suppose. It's a good thing. People might be puzzled that I put it and mention certain channels, Star Talk, and Switch to Linux, and things like that. I mention things that will help us. I think will channels that I think will help us grow. Pardon the Insurrection podcast is one. Tennessee Brando, I'm always mentioning that. Switch to Linux. I mentioned that fellow. These are in Star Talk because why? Because it helps our abilities at being creative, objective, and compassionate. These in one way or another, for one of these factors, or in some cases all three, these are channels that I think are worthy. The Young Turks, I mentioned them. I mentioned the Lincoln Project. So, that's just explaining why I mentioned those. And you might see that I mentioned theprimalmind.com, which the two guys that do that, I feel are contributing a lot to understanding the mind and the brain. And a clinic that I think is pretty good. It's primaltherapy.net, and the other one was theprimalmind.com. These are, I think, they have a little bit different approach than I have, but they get some good results, and I think they're worthy of study and trying out if you feel that's the way you want to go. I mentioned a lot of things, and so we're all in this together, folks. We need to increase the love flow, and that pretty much gets the ego out of the way. Yeah. And hopefully you'll see more faces and not just my face over and over. I'm doing this because I'm the guy who has time so far, and I'm dedicated to it, and so I'm producing a lot of videos. But the channel is not about me. It's about us around the world. Humanity rising together, all of us together. I'm not a guru. I don't believe in gurus. I think the only real gurus, whenever we get together and work together in love, kind of a group guru. But and science is important. So I mentioned the World Science Festival. I think it's called something like that. And we're all of these things, our objectivity, our creativity, and our compassion are things that can grow through forms, using these in an empathetic way in our communications with ourselves or with other people. And, it's growing this is wow. Um, if you've ever been impressed by the Zen experience, or mindfulness, well, that's part of this system. That's part of the meditative aspect, which deals with your perspectives that are without language. Your non-ego infant mind perspective, which is very useful to tap into. Well, I'll stop explaining how the clock works now. There's more that can be said, but if you've listened this far, then yeah. Thank you. We need more Zoom calls. Anyhow, that's it. And I like to send out my Irish blessing, which I put to a tune so I wouldn't forget it. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, or her hand, or its hand, however you see it, source of all love and enlightenment. And as Carl Sagan says, we are all the universe knowing itself. Is that Zen enough for you? That's amazing stuff there. Yeah, not exactly. It's the wow factor is similar to Zen anyway. But yeah, and being the universe knowing itself, you kind of identify with the universe, don't you? A little bit, yeah. That kind of erodes the ego, gets you into the infant mind. So yeah, there is a tie in there. So that word, that phrase, that statement that I like to make is namaste, because it kind of says what Carl Sagan said in a way that honors that in you and in myself and everybody. Namaste, and hopefully you'll make a great day today. You know you can. Just be thankful and express it. Namaste.